On August 9, 2025, the vibrant pulse of Memphis hip-hop was silenced by a tragedy that shook the city to its core. FastCash CMoney, the rising rapper whose raw lyrics and magnetic energy made him a beacon of hope in his community, was gunned down in a shootout in the Frayser neighborhood, leaving behind a legacy cut far too short. At just 25 years old, Courtney Money Smith, as he was born, lost his life in a senseless act of violence days before he was set to complete his federal probation. His death, captured on surveillance footage that spread across the internet, left his girlfriend, Kiss Smith, their two young children, and a grieving city to grapple with an immense loss. Born and raised in the gritty streets of Memphis, Tennessee, CMoney's journey was one of struggle, ambition, and undeniable talent. From forming the FastCash Boyz collective with his childhood friends to dropping singles like Stars in the Moon that resonated with fans. Today, we honor FastCash CMoney's life, his cause of death, age, family, net worth, lifestyle, and biography. A story of a young man whose music told the truth of his world and whose spirit continues to echo in the hearts of those he touched. Courtney Money Smith was born on March 15, 2000, in Memphis, Tennessee, a city where the blues and hip-hop weave a tapestry of resilience and pain. Growing up in the Raleigh neighborhood, known locally as Murder 8, CMoney faced a childhood shaped by the harsh realities of poverty and street life. Raised by his mother, Sharita Smith, in a tight-knit but struggling family, he was surrounded by love, but also by the challenges of a community marked by systemic hardship. His father was largely absent, and CMoney found solace in music, listening to local legends like 3 6 Mafia and Yo Gotti on a second-on radio. As a teenager, he began rapping with friends TP Stacks, Money, and C Jizzle, forming the FastCash Boyz collective in the mid-2010s. They performed at local block parties, their raw energy and streetwise lyrics capturing the spirit of Memphis's underground scene. CMoney's early life was a hustle. He worked odd jobs, from washing cars to delivering groceries, to help his family while writing rhymes late into the night. In a 2023 interview with Hip Hop Vibe, he said, "Memphis raised me tough, but music gave me a way to dream." Those formative years in Raleigh forged a young artist whose voice carried the weight of his city's struggles and aspirations. CMoney's rise in the music world began with the FastCash Boyz, a collective that became a cornerstone of Memphis's modern hip-hop scene. By 2018, their single Cash Walk was a local hit, its booming bass and gritty storytelling earning spins on Memphis radio stations like K97.1. CMoney stood out with his charged delivery and vivid lyrics about survival, loyalty, and ambition. He drew inspiration from his life in Raleigh, rapping about dodging danger and chasing dreams of a better future. The group's DIY approach, recording in home studios and promoting through social media, built a loyal fan base, and CMoney's charisma made him a natural frontman. In 2020, he dropped his first solo single, Free J, a tribute to a friend lost to incarceration, which resonated deeply with fans. His 2024 releases, High Off Me and Stars in the Moon, showcased his growth, blending trap beats with introspective bars about his children and his hopes for redemption. Released on July 4, 2025, Stars and the Moon was his final single, its lyrics hauntingly prophetic. "I'm reaching for the stars, but the streets keep pulling me back." CMoney's music was more than entertainment. It was a raw reflection of his life, earning him respect as a voice for Memphis's youth. Despite his rising success, CMoney's life was shadowed by legal troubles and the dangers of his environment. In 2022, he faced federal charges related to drug possession, resulting in probation that restricted his travel and performances. He was set to complete his probation in September 2025, a milestone he celebrated in a June 2025 Instagram post, writing, "Almost free, ready to take this music global." But the streets of Frayser, where he remained deeply rooted, were unforgiving. On August 9, 2025, a shootout erupted in the Maritavia Street and Georgian Drive area, a residential neighborhood typically quiet, as resident Sharita Miller told WREG-TV. Memphis police reported responding to calls around midnight from Macaulay Drive, where homes were caught in the crossfire of what witnesses described as 60 to 100 gunshots. CMoney was found dead at the scene, pronounced deceased by first responders, as confirmed by All Hip Hop. The violence, linked to escalating tensions over days, was described by Miller as possibly tied to a rap beef, though police have not confirmed a motive, and the investigation remains open. Surveillance footage, shared widely online, captured the chaotic scene, amplifying the tragedy's impact. CMoney's death at 25 was a stark reminder of the violence that claims too many young talents, leaving his community and fans in mourning. CMoney's personal life was centered on his family, particularly his girlfriend, Key Smith, and their 2 young children, whose names he kept private to shield them from his public life. Key, his partner for several years, was his rock, supporting his music and sharing his dreams. After his death, she took to social media, posting an emotional tribute. "Courtney was my best friend. He promised me forever, and now I'm lost without him." Her words, shared with Soap Central, painted a picture of a man who was more than a rapper, a loving father and partner whose laughter filled their home. CMoney was close to his mother, Sharita, and his siblings, often returning to Raleigh to spend time with them. His FastCash Boyz brothers, TP Stacks, Money, and C Jizzle, were his chosen family, and their bond was forged through shared struggles in music. He mentored younger artists in Memphis, offering studio time and advice, and was known for his generosity, often giving cash to kids in his neighborhood. His home, a modest apartment in Frayser, was filled with recording equipment, framed photos of his kids, and a collection of sneakers, a nod to his love for street fashion. CMoney's devotion to his family and community defined him as much as his music, making his loss all the more profound. His lifestyle reflected both the hustle of his upbringing and the dreams he chased through his art. CMoney's net worth, estimated at $100,000 in 2025, came from music sales, streaming revenue, and local performances, though he reinvested much of it into his career and family. He lived simply, driving a used Chevy Impala and wearing custom chains with FastCash pendants, a symbol of his crew's unity. CMoney loved Memphis culture, barbecue from Cozy Corner, late-night drives down Beale Street, and spinning records by local legends at home. He was a regular at Frayser's community events, performing free shows for kids and supporting local businesses. An avid gamer, he streamed Call of Duty sessions on Twitch, connecting with fans who admired his down-to-earth vibe. Despite his legal troubles, CMoney stayed focused, using his music to channel his pain and hope. His Instagram was a window into his world, posts of studio sessions, his children's drawings, and tributes to fallen friends. Health-wise, he faced no known issues, making his sudden death even more shocking. His commitment to his craft and community made him a beloved figure, as seen in tributes from fans who called him Memphis's rising star on X. The days leading to CMoney's death were marked by the tensions that ultimately claimed his life. Witnesses told WREG-TV that the conflict in Frayser had been brewing since the previous Friday, with back-and-forth incidents escalating into the fatal shootout. Key Smith launched a GoFund to cover funeral expenses and support their children, raising $650 by August 12, 2025, as reported by Soap Central. The campaign described CMoney as a loving father and inspiration, taken by senseless gun violence. His memorial service, held on August 12th, was attended by hundreds, with local artists performing his songs in tribute. On August 11th, posts on X from users like @YoungBlessedMoney called for support for his family, urging fans to honor his legacy. Haywood Nelson, a friend and actor, posted, "His music was his truth, and he lived it fully." CMoney's death sparked conversations about gun violence in Memphis, with community leaders calling for change. Survived by Kia, their children, his mother Sharita, and his siblings, his legacy lives in his music, the FastCash Boyz, and the love he poured into his community. His modest $100,000 net worth belies his impact, a voice for the streets, a dreamer cut down too soon. If FastCash CMoney's story of talent, love, and tragedy has moved you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Let's keep his rhythm alive, a beat for Memphis and beyond. Thank you for joining us in celebrating Courtney Money Smith's extraordinary life. Until next time, may his music echo in your heart.